If you guys remember, I discussed my favorite horror games of all time. Now I thought I would do the total opposite, my least favorite. Like the video before, this isn't in any order. This isn't my top 5, top 10, whatever. Without further delay, here are my least favorite horror games. 1953 KGB Unleashed. Myst is one of the best first-person exploration puzzle-heavy experiences of all time. Cloning it should be a piece of cake. Just make it interesting. Unfortunately, that's not the case for 1953 KGB Unleashed. Sure, it's atmospheric, and I like that in a game like this. What really failed is its poorly designed puzzles, convoluted plot, and the so-called horror felt non-existent. It's $6 on Steam, so that should tell you much. Fear 3. In my favorite horror games list, I mentioned the first Fear and how much I really enjoyed playing it despite the graphics not being great to this day. Out of the 2 sequels that was released, the third one is by far the worst one. The horror is completely gone and it plays like a Call of Duty game at this point. They added co-op and multiple endings, but that doesn't matter. Once I was done completing the game, I didn't go back into replaying it. Aliens Colonial Marines. The first 2 Alien movies are really good. They define sci-fi horror, so it's no secret that I would try out Aliens Colonial Marines. Boy was this game garbage. The enemy AI is stupid, you mostly fight humans, the story sucks, the graphics are ugly, and some characters are idiotic. Much like Fear 3, it plays like a Call of Duty game. Thankfully, Alien Isolation did everything right, despite the difficulty spikes. Played that instead. Silent Hill Homecoming. I talked about this on my worst games video, but just to recap what I said, Homecoming is one of the worst games I've ever played. The story's unmemorable, the controls are broken, and characters aren't even likable. Silent Hill 4 at least had heart and care to the game. Homecoming is made by the people who clearly have zero clue what Silent Hill actually is. Just thinking about it makes me angry. Dark. I have no problem with stealth in horror games. Manhunt has done it before, so when I saw Dark on Steam, I figured I might as well try it. A vampire game with stealth? How can it go wrong? Well, lots of things. The game tries too hard to be brooding and, pun intended, dark. The sad part is, the game has atrocious acting, cheap attacks, and horrible AI. And that main character sounds almost like Geralt from The Witcher.
Eric Bane. The name shot through my head like a bullet. It was my name.
Alone in the Dark 2008. The original 1992 Alone in the Dark will always be a classic horror game. It pretty much made the inspiration for Resident Evil, camera angles and all. Of course, the game was popular enough to boast sequels. Out of all of them, the game from 2008 is just plain awful. The story's not great, the graphics are ugly, and the game tries to have every mechanic in the book. None of the mechanics work, by the way. The only thing I found redeemable, if you can call it that, is the voice actor for Edward Carnby. He's Max Payne, and that's all. Why does it exist? What is life? How about you? Got a horror game that you dislike the most? Feel free to share them in the comments. Thanks for watching.